Hello, welcome back Stormtroopers and Rebel Scum. I am the Otaku, and today we are looking at the Star Wars Battlefront DH-17 Blaster, or what I like to call the Peashooter. This weapon is described as a fully automatic blaster pistol with a high rate of fire and reasonable accuracy, which is an ideal weapon for medium-range combat. I, however, would describe it as throwing a fistful of pebbles at someone, which may or may not result in injury, but will at the very least annoy them. Joking aside for now, let's dig a bit deeper and see what the DH-17 is made of. Pulling up the stats, we want to first take a look at the damage chart in the middle. The DH-17 does 25 damage up to 25 meters. After that, you will see the damage begin to decline, going all the way down to 5 damage at 40 meters. Yes, that is no joke. 5 damage at 40 meters. You probably already know what that means, but to spell it out for you, the DH-17 can do a 4-shot kill within 25 meters, and after that it loses 80% of its potency over a short 15 meters. It will be doing so little damage you might as well be throwing rocks or shooting peas. Take your pick. The DH-17 has a rate of fire of 450 rounds per minute. This puts it in third place of all fully automatic blasters. However, let's not forget that Battlefront only has 11 blasters, some of which are burst and some of which are not automatic. To be fair, the rate of fire isn't actually that bad, and definitely one of its stronger features. You shouldn't have too much problem engaging with moving targets, and you aren't punished quite as much for missing at close range. The blaster also has pretty good heating, allowing for up to 23 consecutive shots before it will overheat. If you find yourself in a situation where you need to gun down multiple opponents one after the other, you can do just that. Well, as you will learn, assuming that they don't shoot back. The recoil pattern on the DH-17 isn't that great. It has a 0.2 horizontal to the left, 0.1 horizontal to the right, and then 0.2 vertical, with a 0.8 times first shot multiplier. So in close quarters, the recoil isn't that much of a problem, but at medium to longer ranges, this will make some extremely inaccurate shots, and not something that could be easily compensated for or controlled. The base spread on the DH-17 is 0.15 and increases at 0.15 per shot as well. This isn't horrible, but it does further contribute to your inability to shoot down long distances. You might have already concluded that based on these stats, it sounds almost as if they don't want you to use this blaster at long ranges, hint hint. But, after analyzing all of the blasters in Battlefront, I can tell you right now that you don't want to use this blaster at any ranges. Let's go ahead and get into why. A quick look on the simtic.com and you'll see the DH-17 is ranked 5th on the time to kill charts, between 1 to 10 meters. And that isn't even including things like the Scout pistol or Hero blasters. Then, between 15 to 25 meters where the DH-17 is supposed to perform the best, it is still outclassed by some of the same blasters that beat it in the 0 to 10 meter mark. That doesn't really make much sense. So the DH-17 is essentially subpar at short and medium distances compared to these other blasters in the same class. And you will lose most of your 1v1 gunfights versus them unless they happen to miss and you don't. Now the real problem is beginning to reveal itself. It begs the question of why use the DH-17 when you can choose something like the DL-44 or the SE-14C and you will perform better. Not just versus the DH-17 directly, but in general and at all distances. I already told you that these blasters beat the DH-17 in close and medium ranges, but to make matters worse, the damage drop-off on the DH-17 is actually so severe that these blasters can beat it at long ranges as well. The DH-17 simply cannot hit anything because of the recoil and accuracy, and if you do, it's doing 5 damage per shot, which is hardly even worth your opponent trying to dodge. To give you an example, the DL-44 maintains 19 damage for a 6-shot kill at 40 meters. This makes a theoretical time to kill of 1,280 milliseconds, or 1.28 seconds. The SE14 can do that in 920 milliseconds, or just under 1 second. Want to know what the DH-17's time is? Well, it's 2,613 milliseconds, or 2.6 seconds. That is right, the DH-17, which is quote-unquote ideal for medium ranges, takes more than twice as long to kill as pistols designed specifically for a 0 to 20 meter engagement. I don't know about you, but that sounds really messed up to me. Overall, it's pretty clear to me that using the DH-17 doesn't make a whole lot of sense, especially if you compare it to any other blaster. You are literally going to be limiting and punishing yourself by using it. This isn't simply a case of 1 or 2 blasters being overpowered either. I did tell you some examples, but it's not just that. All other blasters beat it out at ranges that they simply shouldn't. Even the T-21 can kill faster in short distances than the DH-17. That's a little crazy. I'm not trying to be negative either, just honest so people know what to expect. It's good to get the word out there. Maybe DICE will see it and be like, hey, maybe we should fix this gun. Who knows? And I know that there'll be some people out there that are like, oh, I use it, it's just fine for me, and whatever, that's cool, like, I don't really care. The point of this video is to analyze and review the blaster in a way that makes sense for the general population, or as many people as possible. And of course, I do know that what works for one person simply just doesn't work for another. Some people will have maybe horrible accuracy. They can't use pistols like the DL44 or the SE14C because there's this big delay between the shots. And they prefer the DH-17 because it has the faster rate of fire, allows them to just kind of hold down the trigger, spray and pray, go to town, whatever. Yet that doesn't change the fact that someone who is good with the DH-17 could probably do a lot better with another blaster just based on the numbers alone. I don't think that's fair, and I would like DICE to change that. If you are using the DH-17 though, or you want to give it a go, I do have a little bit of advice for you. Obviously, you need to avoid anything past that 25 meter mark, because you're not going to do any of the damage. Also, within that 25 meters, don't expect to be amazing. Like I said, you're going to lose those gunfights still. Having something like the Scout trait and Scan Pulse is going to be really beneficial though. You are going to avoid many of the 1v1 situations and be able to get the jump on your opponents. Explosive Shot also does work because it does have an above average rate of fire. It also helps extend the damage at range for the DH-17, so that can be great too. To make your life easier in general though, and not have to avoid all those huge distances, I would stick to game modes like Blast, Drop Zone, Heroes vs Villains. They just have the smaller maps in general. Also, do make sure you're watching my other videos like the How to Not Suck at Infantry or How to Get Better, that kind of stuff. They do have a lot of effective tips for using weapons like this. I do really feel bad for the DH-17 in general though, and despite all its flaws, I still give it a whirl here and there as well. I like to keep the dust off of it. And I do hope that in the future, DICE will bring some balance back to the Force, so this guy can have a proper place on the battlefront. If you liked this video, then please do not forget to like and subscribe. It does mean a lot to me, and I like to get that feedback. Also, feel free to leave a comment to show some support for the DH-17 and bringing some changes to it. Maybe spam EA or DICE with it on Twitter. Just kidding, don't do that. Anyway, I look forward to a new year with all of you. Expect a lot of fresh content to come. And as always, until then, may the Force be with you.